So yeah, like I was saying, like I think it's so important to live life. Like you've got to make as much memories as possible. Like I think sometimes when you're young, you have a misconception that you've got a lot of time. But the older you get, like even me, I'm not even very, I'm like kind of middle age. I'm not even middle age. I'm 30, so I'm still really relatively young, if you see what I mean.
I'm not
Um,
so young.
but time goes quickly. When the older you get, especially when you get to like 18, you know what I mean, 16. Well, I was gonna say for me probably about 16 because that's when I started working. But time really does go very quickly. Like I've got a son that's gonna be 11 years old soon. Like that's to me that's just you know
Scary.
it's just it's just crazy to think that my son is almost it's just
Well, today I went and see my son,
yeah
and he was 31 today.
yeah wow
So
yeah. Funny, you had your son 20 years before I had mine.
yeah.
You know? So yeah.
I mean, that's another thing to be motivated for, to be, to get stronger, if you can,
Yeah.
to make yourself stronger, because that's important. Another thing is to motivate to get more wealth for you, I suppose.
And for sure, yeah.
If you can.
Yeah, that's always a goal, That's always a goal because that, as we always talk about and always say, that just brings you a certain level of freedom. That is, that if you haven't got it, then you don't have that level of freedom. You know, you can start making a lot more choices. A lot more becomes available to you when you can afford it. If you see what I mean, you have more options in life. If you see what I mean, you can choose to send your kids to private school. Let's say, for example, let's just being, giving you a random example. Like the average person might not be able to afford that. But if you've got the money and you decide you want to send your kids to private school, you can. If you see what I mean. So I'm saying it just gives you more options. There's things in life that you might be able to do that other people might not be able to do because they can't afford to. So yeah, wealth is definitely be motivated to get some wealth. Especially like if you're able to build like generational wealth, that when it's your time to go, and you're able to hand down all your assets, your financial wealth plus all of your assets and everything you've accumulated over the years of hard work and graft or whatever, and when eventually it's your time to go and you leave that in your will to your loved ones, you know that what you've left behind is like life changing for the next however many generations of your family that you've created and left behind. Your children, their children, and they, maybe those children's children. So it's it's a wonderful thing. You can really change the lives of generations of your family to come with that kind of wealth. So don't let anyone trick you or fool you and think to you that. Of course, as we always say, you shouldn't love money, and you shouldn't be motivated solely by money, because money's not everything. It's not the most important thing in the world, but it's one of the most important things in the world. If you see what I mean. If you want to have a good life, a good comfortable life,
Apparently, you can only have a pure soul or spirit when you step away from the material world and leave it behind, walk away from it.
Correct.
That's how you clean your soul, when you step away from the material world. I mean, I've got a lot of materials around me, but I've gained all my materials really because they were given to me, a lot of them, whatever, on my way, I didn't really buy them. Some clothes I do maybe, but that's about it. But really, I don't really love my materials. I'm not in love with them like some people are. Like if I lost my home tomorrow, it would upset me a little bit, but I'd still smile. That's the thing, because I've lost my home before. I lost my family home, and it had washing machine, everything in it. Do you know what I mean? But I lost it all. And I lost my children, and I lost my garden, lost my studio I built in the garden, whatever, I lost everything. I lost the wife I loved. I lost my neighbours. and the job, you know, just so it's clear off to somewhere else, completely, you know, step away from it in one day.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not really scared of losing anything again now, do you know what I mean? I understand life because I've lost it before, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand life a lot more than I think than most people around me, you know, because I know what it's like to lose everything.
Well, you know what it's like to have it all.
Well, you
and
know,
to kind of
I
lose
worked very
and
hard.
And to lose it
I
all.
was working very hard, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
I was giving, you know, I was just giving my wife everything, you know, and we had a beautiful house together, you know, but then I lost it all of a sudden, you know, and it's quite unbelievable, but yeah, I lost it, and it's like a magic disappearing, you know, like that. And I feel like I say, I wouldn't be so happy if I lost this house now, yeah. But I know that I can be happy still, you know, because I'm just not a material person in a kind of way anymore, you know. I think I used to be when I was married, alright, but I've learned I'm not anymore, or I'm trying to get rid of things if I can, and give them away, you know, and that's another thing I'm sort of motivating, really, sort of just to better myself by not having so much in life, you know. And I think that's what you can call being rich and wealthy, actually, when you don't want anything in life, you know. You know, I don't want a car, for instance. That's one thing I don't want.
Yeah.
I've never had a car, but you know, I wouldn't want a car now. That's for sure. Do you know what I mean? I'd sell it.
Yeah.
Straight away, you know, I'd hate it. You know.
Yeah.
So I've got no love really for materials, really.
Yeah.
A bit, you know. I mean, I've got a nice mixer there and whatever, and a bit of nice equipment, right? And I spend a lot of money on it, but I do love it, yeah, and I wouldn't want to lose it, I suppose, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm going to die soon anyway, do you know what I mean, and leave it all behind in a kind of way, you know, so it's a good idea not to fall in love with materials,
yeah.
I think, you know.
Yeah.
Let go of them, let go.
That's it, yeah. That's it, for sure.
I mean, when you're loving materials, you can't love what's real.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, when you're loving diamonds or loving, you can't love reality.
Yeah.
And what's real. You can't love your daughter so much, you know, if you're looking at a gold ring all day.
Yeah.
And loving that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's different frames of minds out there, do you know what I mean? Or
for sure.
different understandings, you know, people need to understand that if you get detached with your materials, it's going to probably damage your life more than anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
In one way or another, you know.
Yeah.
If you let go of your materials, it's going to strengthen you mentally.
Yeah.
You're going to be more focused, you see, because you're not in love with materials anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you're in love with what's real.
Yeah.
You know, what's alive, basically.
Yeah.
You know, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Focus on the real, what really matters. Yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, I always say to people, like, if you've got a family and that, you know, especially kids, you know, if you're a family person or whatever, that's, you know, obviously one of the biggest motivators you can have in life, you know. Especially if you know, if you take pride, especially like someone like myself, you want to take pride in being a good husband and a good father, good provider, good protector, good guider, good advisor, all those things, you know.
Well, I tried to be, you know. I tried to be, but I failed. And I think even if you try your best sometimes, you know, it's not good enough.
It's not easy, mate. Because,
but I must admit, I know a lot more
yeah.
now than I did 15 years ago when I was married. Like, for instance, I wash my own clothes now. You know, I wish I did back then, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Things like that, do you know what I mean? I am a better person now than I was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's the thing you've got to look at, yeah? You've got to look at, like, well, I'm better now because I've learned a lot more since then, you know. In 15 years I've learned a lot more about life, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's a real kick in the teeth getting, you know, getting pushed out by your own, somebody that you love, basically, do you know what I mean? But, you know, now I look back, it's, you know, I learned a lot in this time, you know what I mean? In the last 15 years I learned a lot about life, learned a lot about whatever. And I feel like another 10 years time, alright, okay, I might be a bit older, but at least I've got knowledge in my head, you know, and these, I think like some people get bored, you see. I don't ever get bored because I've got a big imagination.
Yeah, likewise, yeah.
Very big imagination. I'll never get bored because my imagination is, you know, too active to get bored, I suppose, you know, or too happy.
Yeah.
Or, you know, dreaming's an amazing thing, and if you get time to do it, dream, you know, never get bored. Dream. You know, dream is, you're never wasting your time if you're happy dreaming in a kind of, you can daydream, by the way, do you know what I mean? And if people are bored, it's because, you know, why are they bored? Because they're not dreaming.
Yeah.
You think about it.
I think a lot of people get bored, mate, because
it's a boring world.
Well, I think today a lot of people suffer from overstimulation. If you see what I mean. A lot of people today, we're overstimulated. People are online constantly.
Some people are, yeah.
A large majority of people today. So as soon as something's not happening, or like as soon as there's silence for too long, or something's going on, or they have to like, you know, they have to put something on. They have to, if you see what I mean, if you get what I'm saying, like we're so used to having everything, like you said earlier, at the click of our fingertips. If you see what I mean, you know.
Wherever you go.
Wherever you go. So it's like when people haven't got, that's like, okay, you see so many people, right? They'll go on their phone for a little while, scroll through whatever. They'll turn their phone off. Yeah. Hold it in their hand for like 30 seconds to a minute. Yeah. Might look around, whatever. You know, might be lost in thought for 30 seconds to a minute, and then you see a minute later, you see them press their phone again, go back into their phone and continue scrolling, doing shit again. It's, if you see what I mean. Excuse me. But yeah, if you see what I mean, people are so used to being stimulated, they're so used to, it's like, okay, I don't really use TikTok personally, you know, apart from using it for like promotion for my music and stuff, but with TikTok, say for example, people are scrolling through videos, if you see what I mean, like literally all day long, like literally every 5 seconds, like, oh, you know, that they're like that, scroll, next thing,
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it.
If you see what I mean. So it's like so readily accessible, so much shit, so much content there, that people like, even sometimes like people's attention span, if you can't grab someone's attention span today within the first like 3 to 5 seconds of them seeing your content or hearing it or whatever the case may be, a lot of the time people might scroll past it. If you see what I mean, might not even see it or like it or hear it or whatever. If you see what I mean, because there's just so much stuff on there that people just flick, and as soon as they haven't got any kind of stimulation, as soon as they're not looking at their phone, social media or YouTube or watch it or online doing something or whatever, they just can't really function that well, if you see what I mean. They have to have, you know, something going on. They have to, you know, otherwise they can't really cope, if you see what I mean. So, and a lot of us are like that. A lot of people are guilty of it, you know. And unless you kind of take little breaks in between here and there and kind of detach a little bit from those kind of things, then it's easy to get caught up in that cycle too. You know, especially in this modern age, you know, with the internet and everything else, you know. You know, you go to the toilet, people used to take a newspaper or a magazine to the toilet. Today people take their phone or their tablet to the toilet, if you see what I mean. And you might wonder why that person sat, you know, going to the toilet for 20-25 minutes. You know what I mean? They're just, you know, doing their business, but at the same time they're finished a long time ago and they're just sat there scrolling, like, you know what I mean? And before they know it, 15-20 minutes have gone by and they're like, oh shit, better get up, better, you know, clean up and get up.
Well, I think now we've got the internet, there's more to do in life in a funny way, you know?
Yeah. But it's more entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah. But like, you know, you think about it, if you got a car, you own a car, or say you own 2 cars, you know, you got to think about those 2 cars, you know, you got to clean them maybe once a week, you know, and whatever, you got to just look after them a bit, you know, and then if you get something else like a microwave, you got to clean that as well. So the more stuff you get, the more you're doing, basically, in a funny way. Not necessarily, because some people they don't bother cleaning. They might be rich enough to get somebody else to clean their car, do you know what I mean? And get that.
And I tell you what, right, mate? I got into this lady's car the other day, right? I won't say who it was or where I was or whatever.
Why not?
Because that's you know, I'm not here to shame anyone. I'm not trying to shame anyone. But when I got into this person's car, mate, I had never seen anything like this ever in my entire life.
Like a dump, like stuff coming
mate,
out.
This person offered me a lift, and the person's a really nice person. The person's a lovely person, really nice person, you know. Offered me a lift, yeah. When I got in the car, honestly, mate, I was in such disbelief. I'd never ever seen anything like it. Or the first thing that went through my head is, if your car is like this, what is your house look like? Honestly.
Did you get back to our house?
No, because obviously it was a colleague, if you see what I mean. It was an older lady.
Oh, right, okay.
If you see what I mean, just a person, and a person that's seen me a few times, and just an older person, if you see what I mean, an older lady, if you see what I mean. She just saw me going home and offered me a lift, if you see what I mean. But I just couldn't believe it, and all I could think in my head is.
That is. The thing is, we're all a bit different, aren't we? You know.
But I was trying my best not to be judgmental or shameful, but. Mate, I've never ever seen anything like this in my life. I've never seen so much rubbish in a car before, mate. If you see what I mean. Like, from food to just rubbish. All types of different rubbish. Packets of, you pack packets of whatever you bottles, cans. Mate, you know what I mean? I just
Is it like coming into a tiny bin?
And like I said, I wasn't trying to be judgmental, but all I could think in my head at the time, to be honest, was, if your car looks like this, what is your house? You know, what kind of living environment are you really living in, like, you know? And I think it was hard for me because I'm kind of like the complete opposite of that, and I think you're kind of the same in a way, you know, like a clean, tidy environment, you know.
Definitely.
But
well, I think it's important really just to keep above things and keep up with things if you can.
But part of looking after yourself in life is doing these things, is cleanliness, mate, you know. Keeping your house clean and all these different things, it's like, it's for you, like, you know, like, for me personally, like, that's why, like, some people might say, oh, I'm not motivated to do it. Like, not everything in life needs motivation to do it. There's a lot of shit in life that we have to do in life that we're not motivated all the time to do, we just do it. And the same thing applies to cleaning up, if you see what I mean. Same, like, you know, it's like, yeah, it's like every day, like, okay, every day I might not wake up every single morning and feel like, on my days off, and feel like, you know, washing a mountain of dishes and then cleaning up the kitchen and then emptying the rubbish and cleaning out the fridge and then running the hoover around and, you know, cleaning the bathrooms and putting some laundry on and then folding up the laundry that's already in the dryer that needs to be folded up and put away, and, you know, changing the beds, and, you know, you might not feel like doing that shit. You know, but the reality is that you've got to do it. You know, you just get on and do it. You don't even. I think the more you think about it, and the more you think about it, and the more you're going to procrastinate. It has to be one of these things where it's just like, I need to do this, so I'm going to go and do it right now. If you see what I mean, because when you start giving yourself too many options, I think that's one thing in life. Sometimes a lot of us do it. Most of us are guilty of doing it. We play these games with ourselves in our head. I can do it later. Oh no, I can do it tomorrow. It's okay, I've got time. We play all these little different games in our heads to try to justify delaying shit and procrastinating, if you see what I mean, you know? But all it is in reality is delay tactics. Just get on and do it, you know? So, you know, that is a big part of motivation, you know? So,
but keeping ahead, I think, you know, I like to try to think ahead, get ahead.
Yeah.
So I can be free in life, really. You know. So I think, like, having a car, I feel I wouldn't be so free in life, you know, because it's kind of a bit of a responsibility, you know.
Yeah.
I can understand maybe people feel freer because they've got a car, you know, they go further.
Convenience.
You know what I mean? Convenience, comfortable, you know. So I understand that, but I just feel freer. Because I mean, I can travel on train, you know, wherever I want. You know, go to London tomorrow. Take me an hour and a half to get there, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know. So I feel like I just don't need a car.
Yeah.
Kind of way, you know, because some people do and some people don't. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, I think we're all a little bit different. You know, some people are really untidy, and some people are very tidy. Some people are well off, some people aren't. Some people are rude. You know, even if they're rich, right, they're rude.
Yeah.
Or even if they're poor, they're rude. But then sometimes you get kind poor people.
Yeah.
You know, it depends on their knowledge. That does. You know, on their understanding. You know, and their wisdom. You know.
Yeah.
Some people could be happy homeless, can't they?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Some people could be happy with a castle, you know, but some people could be unhappy with a castle.
Yeah.
And I just think, you know, life is all about attitude, really. You know, having the right attitude.
Yeah.
Each day for yourself and everyone else around you. You know, and you know, every day you improve. Every hour, you know, I've improved. You know, I think I've learned a couple of things today. You know, I can't remember what, but. Like I said, I went to my son's today and had a little bit of a party, you know, and had a good time. Yeah, nice sort of, you know, just, I'm glad I went there, do you know what I mean? It's a long, hard, you know,
trek.
Well, yeah, you know, I had to cycle, you know, and get a train, but I did it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of, that was motivation as well in a kind of way, you know. I'm coming up to 60 now, you know, and I'm cycling on my racing bike still, you know. But that's, you know, going up there made his day. If I didn't do it, he wouldn't have anything to remember in a kind of way, you know. And I feel like you got to do the right thing in life. That's all, you know, each day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Motivation.
That's it. You've got to be